These Hot Idiots is a podcast featuring our hosts, two full-grown adult men. Together, they watch teen drama and young adult-oriented television shows one episode at a time. These Hot Idiots is a comedy podcast and isn't meant to be taken as real criticism. This podcast uses adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Odie in Paris. I'm Odie in France. I thought that I told you I need the advance. Put down your IG and look through my lens. A million to grandma, who did I offend? The girl of your dreams to me is a fan. I netted 10 million and did a little dance. Welcome to episode 4 of These Hot Idiots. I'm Ash.
I'm Mega. Was that on the recording? What the hell you just did? Okay. I was
because we're talking about Family Ties, the song by Baby Keem featuring Kendrick Lamar, his cousin.
You're right. We are talking about Family Ties.
Oh wait,
it's gonna be
we're talking about the episode 4 Vampire Diaries.
Right, episode 4 Family Ties, the 1980s sitcom.
Yeah, I remember that kind of. I'm slightly too young for that.
Michael J. Fox is Alex P. Keaton.
I had to find some bars where there isn't the N-word, because like I could try and ad-lib over it, but I might accidentally say one, and then we'd have to completely throw out that recording.
Yes.
I do listen to the hip-hop sometimes.
I think
I don't want to like bury the lead here. It's kind of weird how this episode feels like nothing happened, even though there was a big plot twist. Right?
I feel like you said the same thing about the last episode.
Yeah, you convinced me last episode. I liked it a little bit more.
This one definitely felt... Sorry.
This one just sort of feels a little bit... It feels a little off, like they just had about 20 minutes where they weren't sure what they were doing.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Okay, let me get to the start.
Yes.
So, we start with Elena in her house, and it's dimly lit. And she kind of wanders downstairs, and all her family's gone. And she's like, oh, hello, where are you? And then the TV turns on, and it's a dude on the news. And then she gets attacked by Damon. And then she goes and runs away, and then she gets attacked by Damon, and then she runs to a door and opens it, and it's Damon. But it turns out it wasn't Elena. It was a dream, and it was Stefan's dream. It was kind of weird.
We were so thrown off by it. I was like, oh, this is Stefan's dream. Also, yeah, we're really not sure how to pronounce his name. We have constantly said Stefan.
I don't know why. I keep thinking like Stefan or Kel.
Yeah. It feels very old-timey to say it that way, and that feels correct, but it might be Stefan?
Well, I mean, their last name is supposed to be Salvatore, but they're Salvatore. Like, even, like, I swear to God there's people with the name Salvatore.
Yeah. Like, you'd think his name would be pronounced Stefan. But no, or you think he'd at least anglicize it a little more and make it Steven.
Stefan, yeah, or something like that.
You think?
It was his dream, and Damon's just like, oh, bad dream? Oh, man. Stefan's just sort of, like, lamenting the fact that Damon decided he's gonna stay there and hang out because, he's got nothing better to do.
And he's gonna eat people. And it's gonna be a big problem, because they need to stop eating people.
Writes an entry in his Vampire Diaries TM.
We get right immediately into the vampire and the diary. So, we are 4-0 on that.
Yeah, I kind of glossed over the fact that Stefan just sort of tries stabbing him.
No, Damon tries stabbing...
No, they stab each other, I think.
Oh, they stab each other?
They stab each other. Like, he stabs Damon, I think. And then Damon stabs him, and then Damon leaves. And then, like, he lifts his shirt and, like, his wound heals.
I remember the Stefan stab. I don't remember the Damon stab. I just remember the Stefan one because David starts by like, rambling about something, and he says Taylor Swift, and then immediately guts him.
Taylor Swift. Stab. I forgot about just Taylor Swift. Stab.
On the news, and I think this was even in the I think the news also appeared in the dream, where, and that's part of the dream, is like Elena goes downstairs and she sees like a news report that says that there were animal attacks. That raccoon needs to be stopped, dude.
Yeah, those animal attacks are progressing, and that raccoon is just going AWOL. Like,
And on, go ahead.
no, I didn't have anything to say after that.
But in the
our
dream,
chemistry's off.
we're trying to not interrupt each other as much.
Yeah.
And we're struggling here, but we will get it down.
They mentioned on the news. They're talking about the news, and they mentioned that it's like a 12-foot mountain lion, and I looked it up. And most mountain lions are like 8 feet long, not 12.
Are there? I think you said that there might be mountain lions in Virginia because it's close to the Appalachians.
Yeah, mountain lions are in the mountains.
I just wanted to kind of dial it back a bit, just to note that during the dream where Damon attacks Elena, like, the news reporter announces that the next victim of this raccoon attack was Elena Gilbert.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Which, admittedly, it was just basically Damon can actually enter dreams, which was something we didn't really understand in the last episode.
Yeah, because I didn't remember how he influenced that dream. He just took his shirt off, and then Elena yelled.
Yeah, and I think it's just he can enter people's minds while they're sleeping.
Yeah, they did stab each other.
Okay, they did.
It's just one of them stabbed Stephen while going, Taylor Swift. I don't remember why he was talking about Taylor Swift.
I think it was just I think he was ribbing on his brother's habit of pretending to be a high schooler perpetually.
Yeah, because he used to sneak around in college.
Yeah.
And like Harvard and stuff, but now he's in high school.
And it's really just kind of lame. That might not be the exact reason the scene happened, but or how that scene went
we
down.
got Jenna back, and she's making fun of the news reporter because I think he's her ex.
They used to date, and apparently the relationship went so sour that she left Spoons.
Yeah, she got out of Spoons and then came back when the parents died. Where was I? So Elena's gathering jewelry because there's like a founders party, and for some reason all the main characters are like founders of Spoons, Virginia.
They have family. Their family was part of the founding families of Spoons,
which is just
and
weird.
So they're kind of. That is very weird. That is very specific, and I think like they're gathering just like heirlooms to present for some reason. Like it's just to like
here are our heirlooms. Look at them.
Yeah.
Even though we invited mostly the people who brought the heirlooms. There you go. There they are.
It's sort of a weird bragging rights thing going on.
Rich people shit. I don't know.
Yeah, rich people shit.
So, after, like, she's gathering jewelry and talks to Jenna, Stefan comes over, and when they open the door, Stefan's, like, looking at his feet and then looks up, like he was told to, like, oh, react to the door opening. Just like, whoa.
You think after 100 years he would build up the confidence not to awkwardly stare at his own shoes.
Yeah, and then they come over and they immediately just, like, go to their bedroom and start kissing. And then Stefan gets, like, vampire face, and I don't know why. Does kissing make him want blood? Like,
I think it's supposed to be. There has always been sort of, as part of, like, there's a lot of different ways you can interpret vampires, and one of them is they are kind of tied to sex as a concept.
Are they tied to, like, virginity, maybe?
Sometimes virginity, sometimes just metaphors for temptation and all that. And it's something that happens a lot, and I think Also, you could say it's because Twilight did a similar thing where like Edward gets like kind of like he gets more aggressive and animalistic when he starts making out with Bella,
Yeah, and this
and I feel
episode
like they're
really
trying to
wants
hit
you to
that.
know that this isn't Twilight.
Oh my god. Yes, here we go.
So they kind of stop after after Stefan gets vampire face, and they're like, "Oh, maybe we should put this on hold for now, because I still got to gather these heirlooms, and also you got your brother to deal with." And then they cut to Damon, who is watching Caroline dress up, and he's reading a book shirtless. And oh my god, it's Stephanie Meyer's Twilight, specifically the second book of the series.
It's New Moon.
Yeah, it's New Moon. Because he
Ah,
kind of wasn't understanding what the characters were, and then she was like, "Oh, that's because you got to read the first one." He was reading the second one.
I don't know why he started with New Moon. Would it not say on the cover that it's the sequel to Twilight?
You'd think.
I think, uh, yeah, Caroline's wearing kind of an ugly yellow dress.
Uh,
Honestly,
I feel
I'm
like
with
it's
Damon.
fine. I felt like it was fine. It might have
I don't
been
know.
too
I
much
was
yellow. She's a blonde,
yeah.
and you kind
I
of
was
want
kind of
to
with
you want to
Damon
you
on
want to
that.
contrast your hair a little bit. I think I'm not super well versed in fashion, but I feel like contrasting your hair is a good thing. And he's
And
just like bitching about Twilight.
and talking about how Anne Rice was way better.
Anne Rice was way better, and like these vampires sparkle, and then Caroline's like, "Why don't you sparkle?" And then he's like, "Cause I'm not gay," or something people would say in the 2000s.
He says because I burn up like a real vampire, and I'm like, you fucking bitch, you
Yeah, but you
stupid
got a
bitch.
special daylight ring, and then she's like, "How'd you
No,
get that?" And he's like, "Season 2." You know?
no, you cannot fucking rip on Twilight for its depiction of vampires and sunlight, while also still holding up fucking Nosferatu. That wasn't in the original Dracula. That wasn't part of basic vampire myth. The sunlight thing was from Nosferatu. You can't do that show.
Wasn't it just a stake to the heart originally,
It was like I think it was just usually you just decapitate them.
or like
And I
that
think we
one, or like that one movie in Italian where the guy holds up a cross and then goes, "Ha, joke's on you, I'm Jewish." And then the priest pulls out a fucking Nazi thing. And he's like, "No,
I don't know what movie you're talking about
I'll show
actually.
you it later. It's weird."
I'm sure it is. And like this is where it kind of dawns on us like Bonnie might know already. Or Caroline. Caroline, why did I say Bonnie?
Well, no, I think
Caroline
Caroline might know already, because I think the gimmick is that she's so trapped in like compelling, whatever, that he could just outright state he's going to kill her later, and she doesn't react to it.
I think I didn't pick up on that. I thought he just told her off screen
Because she also like declines to invite him, and then he makes her invite him anyway, and also tells her to wear a blue dress.
instead of the ugly yellow one. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't pick up on the fact that she was so heavily under like hypnotic suggestion that it just didn't matter if he told her. I thought he just told her because he liked her, which I don't know. I'd like to believe.
Then we got Vicky and Tyler at the grill with Tyler's parents, who were just like two old rich assholes, and also I believe the hosts of the founders party, and one of them's the mayor.
Yeah, Tyler's dad is the mayor, and they're a bunch of rich assholes. But because Vicky is lower class, Tyler doesn't want to be seen with her.
Yeah, so he
'Cause
kind of like half associates himself with Vicky, and then Vicky gets upset over the fact that like, whoa, why can't you tell them I'm your girlfriend? Boop a doop.
was this before or like after the scene where Bonnie says that Damon is a super danger guy?
This is before.
Okay.
I've got my notes in chronological order.
You've got proper notes is the thing.
Well, a lot of them is just one-liners that I wrote, and then I have to remember why I wrote that.
Yeah, it's the same with me, But you have like pages. I have half a page. Usually because I'm usually watching and kind of trying to absorb the information.
Bonnie and Caroline
I-
are also there, and they're talking about Damon, but Caroline keeps jumping around when she asks any hard questions. Tyler is the mayor's kid, which they established this episode. They didn't really bring that up before.
It never really came up with him. He just seemed like an asshole jock.
Yeah. Jeremy just is there because he is.
He's there to mope and to try and get with Vicky
Oh, my
again.
girlfriend.
We fucked. Why won't you go? Why won't you go out with me anymore? And it's just like, man, you know.
Tyler eventually reneges and asks Vicky to the Founders Ball.
Yeah. But like, man,
and then Jeremy's just like, ooh, you had to make him ask you to go to the ball?
Can I just say, I'm actually okay with the triangle between Elena, Damon, and Stefan, because that also has like the mind games kind of going on, the vampire mind games, and the intensity of like, ooh, like who's gonna win out between the nice vampire and the evil vampire?
Because love triangles are great.
But no, see, I don't care for love triangles otherwise. This one has
it feels like they're trying to outsmart each other a little bit.
There's an element to it, yeah.
And
there's a bit of an element.
And like Stefan's writing in his journal / Vampire Diaries about how like, okay, so Damon's like actually stronger than me, so how the fuck do I get rid of him?
And like he's talking with his nephew Zach about it.
Damon confronts Sweater Boy in the Salvatore house.
Ah, you're right.
Also known as Zach.
Yes, Sweater Boy.
And then they talk about high school. I forgot.
That's where they talk about the whole.
And then Zach's like, I want you to leave. And then Damon just zooms, like, just time lapses and grabs his neck.
Yeah, it just kind of says, no, I'm not angry. I'm not angry at you at all. I'm just reestablishing dominance here, basically. Because I'm stronger.
I pee on the floor because I want you to know I'm the strongest vampire in town.
Yes.
Yes, that's how it works.
Mark my territory with vampire pee. Because vampires do, in fact, drink, as we will see later.
So, Damon leaves after smugly laughing, pretty much. Stefan's just like, or Zach's just like, you gotta do something about this fucking dude guy. And then Stefan's just like, what do you want me to do? Like, drink blood? Because if I drink blood, like, I don't really want to do that. I'll fucking go crazy. Like,
he won't drink human blood, but that makes him weaker than Damon, who does drink human blood. So
yeah.
he doesn't have that equalizer. And then Zach's like, well, you got some Vervain, right? You know, Vervain will weaken him.
Yeah, Vervain will weaken him. And he's just like, Vervain hasn't grown here since 1884. And I'm just like, eBay!
But also, like, I think it was like Jenny Nicholson pointed out, Vervain is just verbena, right?
Yes, Vervain is just the verbena flower used in like a lot of lotion and soap because it kind of has like that kind of fresh but kind of bitter scent to it. And like, you can't mail order some fucking verbena or Vervain or whatever, like extract.
You can't go
flower.
to a CVS.
You can't go to a fucking Rite Aid and just get some Vervain.
It can't be that hard.
That's why typically when you want to do some kind of like root or like rare herb, it'll be something weird like a moonflower or something fictional. You can't just go
Spain.
Or you can't just go like, I need a portobello mushroom or else it won't work.
I need some daisies, but there's no daisies.
Daisies haven't grown here since 1846. I don't know, just go to flowers.com. Fuck. Like,
Flowers.com probably existed at the time, yeah.
Order some. They talk about eBay in this episode. He could eBay some fucking Vervain But it turns out that solution, or like the questions we had, were immediately resolved when Zach reveals that he has a vervain room.
He has a secret, like, fucking vervain garden in the house, and it's like, how did no one notice this?
How
No
did no one
vampires-
notice this? So I assume it's like there's like a skylight and there's a door, but the door doesn't go anywhere because there's a skylight. So why has no one opened the door and looked at all the fucking vervain you're growing?
Now, here's my thing, is how, like, vampires usually have, like, enhanced senses, right? Would they not fucking smell it?
Think they can't smell that shit? He's got super hearing. He can tell that, like, Damon's going to the hospital and he's got to get there first. Like, or Matt's going to the hospital. No Matt, by the way.
No Matt this episode. That is weird, actually. Now that you mention it. The last episode had no Jenna. This episode has no Matt. Very odd.
Get me away from that, Matt.
Maybe Matt's at Mr. Tanner's funeral. I don't know why he would go. Mr. Tanner sucked.
Mr. Tanner sucked. He was a bad coach and a bad history teacher.
Awful.
He was just an awful dude. So Bonnie and Elena help each other get ready for the party, and Elena has that thing they did in the 2000s where, like, you made like a bump on the top of your hair. Like, I don't know how they did it, but like your hair goes higher than your head. It just looks like you got like a bump on the back of your head.
I think of like those fucking, like, I don't know if you remember them. They were like these like rods, like these like iron, like metal sheets or rods or whatever that were bendable or something.
Did you put them in your hair?
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called, but I remember they were like some sort of like styling product that you could wrap around your hair around.
I think I remember that. I just don't know the name.
Right? It's gonna stick. It's gonna be like that fucking upholstery thing I showed you, with the guy stabbing the couch. Where it's like, this played so often when I was young, but the product does not ring a bell to me. Also, go ahead.
So Bonnie and Elena help each other get ready for the party. She says that Catherine said to Bonnie that, or not Catherine, said that she said that Caroline told Bonnie that Catherine picked Damon and Stefan pretty much tried to ruin the relationship. And then she's like, oh, that's pretty one-sided, don't you think?
Yeah, apparently Stefan has a very interesting backstory, according to Bonnie.
Very interesting backstory. So, Stefan's just in his, like, house. He's drinking whiskey, being all sad like a 17-year-old does, I guess. But he looks like he's 26, so it's whatever. And Damon decides to get dressed in front of the mirror in front of Stefan and taunt him a little bit.
This is where we learn that vampires can drink booze.
Yes, they can drink booze. Then we cut to the fact that Elena can't find the pocket watch, the Gilbert family pocket watch, and that Jeremy stole it and left it in his room somewhere. And Elena slaps him in the head. And then Jeremy's just like, oh, it was my watch. Dad gave it to me before he died. Can't take it. What the fuck? And she's like, I'm not taking it. I'm just taking it to the party that we have every year. Like, come on.
She walks up to him and like he's wearing headphones. She's like smacks like the side of his headphones, and I just go, "Ah, fuck! I can't believe you've done this, Elena."
I can't believe you've done this.
Jeremy, in a rare moment of showing anything other than being a fucking loser about Vicky,
just a sad sack of shit of jealousy and being like bitter.
He's upset because he's like. When dad passed it's a family heirloom that was passed from like father to son, and the dad died, and so it's mine, and it's like oh man, that sucks. And it really sucks because it says don't forget free October 11 in it.
That's it?
Nothing. No.
Oh.
It's a Full Metal Alchemist reference.
I haven't watched that since 2010.
I had to look it up, honestly.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what's inside the pocket watch in like Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know what it means, honestly. I just
It's
think
a magical day.
just people always bring it up in memes, usually around October 3rd.
Oh.
But it's just it was the first thing I thought of when I thought of pocket watches. Anyway, I believe we get to some more Damon and Stefan antics.
So they're talking, and he's drinking, and they're talking about their past. And then Damon kind of goes and takes a drink that's sitting next to Stefan's, and then he pours it out right before he drinks it. And it's like, ha! You tried to poison me! But ain't gonna fucking work, you suck.
You put vervain in my drink, you bitch.
Trying to roofie me?
Yes, there we go. He's like, I'm not college girl. You can't roofie me. It's like, whoa, okay. Hold the phone here. There's some crimes that went on.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know who committed them. I believe it was Damon, though.
Then we go to the founders party, and it's a bunch of rich white folks saying hi to each other, with a concerning amount of people of color being waiters and people serving drinks.
Yes, and Bonnie's just kind of there.
And Bonnie's just sort of there.
Trying not to take that all in.
Just like, I'm not gonna think about this.
Don't think about it, Bonnie. You'll get through the night easier.
Yeah, everyone's saying hi to each other. We got Damon and Caroline, they show up first. Then they got Elena and Steven, they show up a little bit afterwards. Elena gives back the watch before she gets there. Back to Jeremy.
Yeah, and so the watch isn't there, which will become important later.
Caroline talks to her mom, who is a cop.
Oh yeah, she's the sheriff.
The sheriff.
Sheriff. Like makes it clear to Damon's like, hey, my mom's the sheriff, so don't try any funny business.
She'll put you under arrest for daughter crimes. I don't know. And then her mom's just like, he's kind of old for, like, be your side piece, isn't he? She's like, whatever, Damon's cool.
Is he really that much older than her?
Well, he's supposed to be 25.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, everyone, they got all their shit on a table. All the founders got their shit on tables. Jenna talks to the news reporter who she saw on TV.
Logan fell.
And Logan just keeps swinging and missing on trying to, like, patch things up with her. Because every time he talks, she's just like, I literally don't care about you. Go away.
This is a night of relationships that the show is trying to sell us on, but I just could not care any less. It's Jenna and Logan, and then it's like I was trying to say before was like the Tyler, Vicky, Jeremy stuff.
Which
like
I'm not a big fan of. I don't like Vicky, and I don't like Jeremy. I don't like Tyler.
Tyler is awful.
Tyler is a dipshit and a punk. Like, Vicky is bitchy and, like, stupid and doesn't seem to, like, reciprocate any people caring about her, which is weird.
She seems like she doesn't know who she really wants in this whole debacle.
Jeremy's pathetic.
Jeremy's a sad little cuck.
He's a sad little cuck. Like, he's just sitting around and moping and being like, it should have been me, and then, like, getting punched in the face or punching people in the face. He's just kind of lame. Just a fucking lame-ho.
And like it's a bunch of the rest of the episode is all this nonsense with Tyler and Vicky.
It's
and
just
Vicky's
talking
mom.
about these relationships multiple times. And also this funny moment where, like, Stefan sort of realizes that, oh shit, I wrote my name on the guest list back in 1864. Ah, fuck. And then Damon's like, that's the name of our ancestors. Yeah, that's it.
You know, I like to think that they fucked Elena and Caroline's ancestors back in the day.
We fucked every single Gilbert that kind of looked like you,
We fucked every generation of Gilbert before you.
including your mom. Imagine that as a story concept that like
That'd be so fucked.
this fucking like these two vampires just keep fucking the like female like the female patriarch, and they fucked your grandma and they fucked your mom, and they're gonna fuck you, and also their grandma's like still alive, and she's like, oh honey, ooh. It's like, no.
Like, yeah, just generations of this one vampire coming over and just fucking
And he's
this
like,
one lady.
man, you get a good 30 years with each of them. And he's just like, what the fuck?
So messed up.
That's not what happens.
That's not what happens. Thankfully. God, could you imagine? Could you imagine if CW went there?
I fucked every Gilbert with brown hair that I could find, including your mom, and your mom, and your grandma,
and your great grandma,
and your great grandma,
and so on and so forth.
So on and so forth. And here's pictures of me fucking all of them. No.
Oh God.
Stefan, like, Damon wants everyone to dance, and Stefan's like, I don't really dance that well. And then he's like, what are you talking about? You know the waltz, jitterbug, you know the moonwalk. And eventually they kind of settle for a little trade, so Elena's gonna dance with Damon, and Caroline's just gonna fuck off.
Well, Caroline's gonna dance with Stefan.
Yeah, okay.
And he's gonna do the waltz, the jitterbug, and the moonwalk
at the same time.
In sequence.
In sequence.
How we do. I feel like this is around where my brain just kind of blurs it all out, because very little. I remember there's like some sort of like jewel of some kind. I genuinely don't know.
Damon steals a jewel from the table, which just has everyone's precious heirlooms on it, after having Caroline like be a stand-in to block the view, but that's later. First, Damon apologizes to Elena while they're dancing for being kind of a creepazoid. Elena half accepts it, but not really. Caroline is just like drinking alcohol.
Caroline's just getting drunk. I think it's Elena just really wants to not be.
She tells him that, like, I don't want you guys fighting. This is stupid. Like, why can't you just get over your brother issues?
I think she says she doesn't want to be in the middle of this whole sibling rivalry that they got going on.
Yeah.
But also she kind of gets in the middle of it anyway. Of
course she does.
You know, it's just how it is. Love triangles, you know?
Why are they letting Caroline drink alcohol?
I genuinely wonder if it's because there's chaperone there's adult supervision, which I think means that it's okay. It's okay in it's
okay in Europe and England, but I don't know if it's okay here. Let me look that up. Chaperoned underage drinking.
I mean, they're family, so I imagine that's fine, or at least
if an underage kid drinks at your house under your supervision or knowledge, you will face criminal charges.
And that's for Virginia?
I haven't checked Virginia. Let me add Virginia to the search. We have a guy from Virginia, maybe.
Yeah, he never shows up for this.
Virginia permits underage possession when an alcoholic beverage is allowed to an underage guest at a private residence. Okay, there we go.
So it would be allowed.
You can drink if you're a minor in Virginia. Don't take legal advice from a podcast about vampires.
Also, don't take Virginia legal advice from a guy from Oregon.
Hey, I used Google.
You did use Google.
I binged it.
You binged it. We'll get to that. We know that's coming. But also just great legal advice from the These Hot Idiots podcast, which I don't think we actually we said These Hot Idiots at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Uh, Great legal advice from the These Hot Idiots podcast. Dox your friends and drink underage.
Don't listen to us.
Please don't.
Let's see. Damon and Elena talk about the what happened to Catherine, and then he kind of or what happened to Damon and Stefan from the 1800s, who are not this Damon and Stefan from the now. Talking about how like someone precious died in a church burning, and there were Confederate soldiers and like Union soldiers, and they were fighting at the church.
I think they say specifically Union sympathizers. I don't think they were specifically Union soldiers.
Yeah,
but
we'll get into that later.
Just saying the
Vicky's
history of spoons.
Vicky's still complaining to Tyler about like, you know, why don't you want to be? What, you want me to like strip naked and give the pastor a lap dance? It's like, why do you parents think I'm trash?
Yeah, it's more Tyler and Vicky stuff where it's just like, I don't.
And how Tyler's parents
care.
don't want a hussy, and then Tyler kind of introduces Vicky to his parents again.
His mom specifically.
His mom specifically. I think it was his dad at the diner. And then she kind of shuts him down and leaves, and then his mom just leans over the shoulder and just goes, and that's why you don't date a poor trash person.
Why are you dating one of those poors?
Why are you dating a poor? It's like, okay, so this lady's a huge bitch. Got it.
Huge bitch.
Then we cut to Bonnie just lighting candles with her mind. I don't know why she's doing that.
He's gonna set this whole goddamn house on fire, I swear to God.
And we keep seeing black guys serving drinks, and Bonnie's just thinking about burning this house down, but it's just like, fine.
Like, yeah. Man, wouldn't it be better if she did just kind of randomly set the house on fire? Their mind.
Caroline watches Elena and Stefan dance, and then just David tells her to shut up.
Piss off.
Jenna and Logan talk again, and Jenna snaps at Logan again. I don't care.
Just, guys, it's not working here.
Then we get like a 4 to 5 minute dancing montage where they're just dancing, and we're just seeing, it's like B-roll of dancing, and they're dancing together, and they're dancing.
They really need to get whatever song they had playing on this scene, like, onto the episode.
Elena starts asking Stefan about Catherine because Damon told her about Catherine. And Stefan's avoiding the questions because he doesn't want to, like, draw suspicions that he's a vampire. And Elena gets upset because why is Stefan not opening up to me? And it's like, I'm just going to believe what Damon says because you're not going to tell me what happened on your side of this story, so fuck you, bye.
Yep.
But then she immediately regrets it when she talks to Bonnie. Like, oh, I snapped at him. I didn't mean to do that.
Excuse me.
Now he steals a gem. This kind of pissed yellow amber gem kind of looking gem.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell this gem was supposed to be, like some sort of amulet or something, but I guess it's an important, like
and he's like, I can't be stealing it if it's mine.
It's his. It probably belongs to his family, or basically to him because it was probably from him.
Then Logan talks to Jenna again, and then he brings up cheese fries, and now Jenna's listening.
He got the cheese fry riz.
Got the cheese fry riz, and also talks about how his hairline's going, and it's no, it's not. It's not going.
I mean, let's just be honest. I probably would for some cheese fries.
Yeah. I still, one of my favorite things as a kid was those Burger King Shake 'em fries, where like you'd get the cheese dust and then you'd put it in a box and you'd shake it and then the fries would be cheesy. And I always wanted to replicate that, but I just got to get cheese dust and fries and then replicate it.
I still feel like, on the topic of cheeses, I still feel like Kraft is wasting a golden opportunity to make a lot of money by just selling their cheese powder,
Just sell the cheese powder in like a container with a little
like little
scoop.
packets. Yeah, or a scoop.
Yeah, just like protein powder, but instead of protein powder, it's just fucking cheese.
And you could just put it on any kind of pasta you want. You want spaghetti and cheese, you want ziti and cheese, you want rigatoni and cheese, cavatappi and cheese.
You wanna cover your steak in cheese like a weirdo?
Go ahead, do it.
Go
Google
ahead.
Foods might do it.
Google Foods would definitely do it. He would just be like, I covered this delicious Wagyu steak and cheese, and now
And
let's
cheese
try
powder?
to eat the cheese powder. It's
Mm,
like, oh god, no.
it'd be gross.
Bonnie hears Tyler's mom being a classist bitch. Decides, I gotta light more candles.
Yeah, this house ain't going on fire on its own. The only classism that Bonnie hears, which is, very impressive.
Yeah.
Because this conversation could have turned a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
Especially in this house.
Elena saw that raccoon bite on Carolyn's neck after they start talking again about Stefan, and Carolyn gets upset and storms off, and we cut to Stefan standing next to a fountain.
I didn't know it was Stefan at first. There was just like a shot. And
Well, actually,
because
she's got 2 bites on her. She's got one on her neck and then one on her shoulder.
like kind of near her back, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Damon's been biting her, but we've been keeping up the joke of this raccoon.
I sleep in a dumpster.
Look, Elena, it's fine. I got a pet raccoon and he gets bitey. It's fine. I don't have rabies.
He doesn't have rabies. He got his shots. Elena's just like, Damon's been like abusing her, and there's like mouth marks on her neck and shoulder, and I don't know what they are because no one has said the word vampire to me yet, so I'm just gonna assume he's weird and bites people.
They're surprisingly deep bite marks too, so I don't know how she got the idea that it was specifically that Damon did it. Like,
Well, she's around Damon the most.
I mean, yeah. And I
She's
guess I'm
covered
not
in
an
bruises
expert.
while being around Damon, so she's being abused by Damon.
Yeah, so that's probably like the best I don't know. I guess maybe I just haven't been around enough. I haven't bitten enough people to know how deep the teeth can sink.
As opposed to me, who bites people on the reg? What are you implying?
I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying I don't know how far teeth can sink into human flesh. I was not implying that you bite people. Are you admitting something here?
I have bitten someone before. But it was one, it was an accident. 2, it was my sister.
Okay, fair enough.
We were playing in the pool, and I had a habit of like trying to belly flop as fast as I can into the pool. And then my sister wanted to jump in the pool too, so she did like a little hop into the pool, and I just fucking speared her leg with my face, and like I bit the shit out of her.
Damn.
And they had to get it in. They had to get it cleaned, and like it was the exact shape of my mouth.
God damn.
And it's just like, oops, sorry. I don't know why I dive with my mouth open. That's weird. That was when we were 10, I think. I'm 3 years younger than her, so I was like
10 and 13.
Actually, I
10
think
and
it was
7.
like 7 and 10.
7 and 10, yeah.
It can get pretty bad looking.
All right, well, that answers my question.
So Elena talks to Stefan about like, hey, you got to do something about your brother fucking abusing my friend here. And he's just like, look, you got to back off and leave me alone. Like, I gotta handle this by myself. I don't want you getting involved. Okay, bye.
Excuse me.
Jeremy is sad and playing video games in his Logitech headset. And he's playing like 15 video games at once because it just keeps changing the sounds.
The sound effects are like
Like
a
boopity boop,
mishmash
bloopity bloopity.
of beeps and boops that sound like they're from different genres of video game. There's no consistency to it. Also, I think he's playing with an original Xbox controller. I couldn't tell because of the lighting, as always.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if, despite the fact that he has a PS2, they gave him an
I forgot.
original Xbox.
Elena also threatens Damon to back off from Carolyn. I forgot. That's what she does before talking to Stefan about it.
Yeah. And then Vicky shows up at Jeremy's at the Gilbert house.
And she's like,
Jeremy.
I'm taking you to Smooch Town tonight. Smooch
My
Town.
God.
Smooch.
God, these three suck.
These three suck. I think.
Where's Matt? I miss Matt.
And, you know, Carolyn's upset because she accidentally outed that, Damon's been biting her, Elena. And he's like, it's fine, I forgive you. But I kind of don't have use for you anymore. So he bites her on the neck again. And then he faints because it was fucking Keikaku. Salvatore Keikaku.
Salvatore Kikaku. So at this point,
instead of trying to poison Stefan or trying to poison Damon with verbena, he actually slipped verbena into Carolyn's drink because he knew that Damon would drink from her, and it's enough to knock him over.
Yeah, I genuinely was thinking, wow, that verbena thing would because that gave him a second dose that was stronger than the one in his booze. And I thought, man, they really didn't pay that off at all, did they? And then immediately Damon just drops in pain. And was like, oh, shit. So this is the payoff to that.
Yeah, that's really clever. I like that.
I think, didn't Stefan hand her the champagne that she drank?
Yeah, he did. He handed her the champagne that she drank that she wasn't supposed to drink because she's a teenager, but whatever.
Shit.
That's cool.
That's really well played. That's good foreshadowing.
It almost made up for the fact that 20 minutes of this episode are completely worthless.
Jesus Christ, this episode otherwise. Yeah.
There's some good shit in it. It's just half of it is worthless, and that kind of drops the score down.
Yeah. We gotta stick this episode in the Vervain room like they do to Damon at the end of the episode.
Yeah, Damon's out. Carolyn wakes up, takes Damon's jewel that he stole because he was, taken by Stefan after he drank the verbena. Carolyn and Elena offer a hug because Carolyn's stammering and is clearly upset.
Brian.
And then they throw Damon into the verbena room.
The verbena room.
Get verbena'd.
Idiot.
Then the mayor, the wife, and the sheriff, and the news guy all meet to discuss how
the founders
discuss about how why didn't Elena Gilbert give us the pocket watch? They're back. The vampires are back.
Yeah, they need the pocket watch because the vampires are back, and it's oh, the founders know.
The founders know there's a founders know there's a vampire because these raccoon bites are clearly not normal raccoon bites.
This is clearly not a raccoon or a 12-foot tall mountain lion.
Or an absurdly big mountain lion.
So, how do the founders not have any suspicion of the Salvatores who just came back?
They have the guest list with Damon and Steph and Salvatore on it. And then Damon and Steph and Salvatore show up at this party. And I was looking through the Wikipedia page to just sort of plug any gaps that I have. And the founders actually meet them in a later episode in the past. So this is the second or third time they've seen Damon and Steph and Salvatore.
Oh my God.
And it's you guys suck.
You guys suck at this immediately. You let them into your house.
You let them both in your fucking house. They're immediately off your suspect list, even though they're on the fucking 1864 guest list.
And And that's the fucking like rule. Is like don't invite a vampire into your house.
If
You
they were
you can have
suspicious of people being vampires in their house, you think they would have a party outside on the property.
outdoor
So
party, or
they don't invite any vampires into the house, right?
you think they got a pretty big backyard?
Yeah, they got a fucking like courtyard with like fountains and like a swimming pool. And they have like off property too. They have that lakeside that where Elena talked to Stefan. That's all their property.
Yeah, and then Bonnie wouldn't set the house on
And
fire.
then Bonnie wouldn't set the house on fire. Exactly.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, this episode kind of sucks.
It
I did
really
not
could
enjoy
have
it.
been a lot of it could have been cut, and I feel like they could have like stitched in the next episode with this one. Even though we haven't watched that next episode, I feel like they could they've got a plot line they can follow now, and I feel like they should have just followed it this episode.
Yeah. This got spread very thin with a lot of a love triangle.
There's
past
just a lot
romance
of
stuff.
episodes for each season, especially like season 1 is like 22 episodes. And I feel like they have about 15 episodes worth of material.
Probably.
It's just there's these moments that you kind of zone out a little bit because you sort of feel like nothing's really happening. And yeah, maybe people of the correct age, like teenage women watching this, and maybe some teenage men, they could like listen to the music or watch their two favorite characters dance, but like I'm trying to figure out what the next beat is, and there just isn't one for like 5 or 6 minutes at a time. Even though I like the ending, because I don't know, I just like Damon being dragged into the verbena room.
You like him getting verbena.
I just
And
it just feels like you guys use like 10 minutes of B-roll.
oh my god. Like we're finally getting like our antagonist, as it were, other than Damon, who's
Other
still
than
kind of an
Damon,
antagonist.
who's kind of an antagonist, but he's like also chatty Cathy's with his brother and Elena and Caroline. Like people actually hunting down the vampires. We got our fucking who was the guy who hunted down fairies in Fairly Odd Parents? Mr. Crocker?
Our Crocker, yeah.
We got our Mr. Crocker. The Crocker founders.
The Crocker founders.
So I'm gonna say this episode was kind of mid.
This is probably the worst episode we've seen so far.
Last episode was better, but mostly because it was kind of wacky. And, you know, being kind of wacky makes up for being not great. Because if it's fun, fuck it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the second episode's still the better episode so far. Let's go into music. Oh, I forgot. They also talked about how to make them a vampire.
Ah, yeah. They do bring up the process where it's like...
You have to drain a person of their blood, feed them vampire blood, and then when they come back to life, they have to also drink blood of a human. There's a lot of steps.
There's a lot of steps.
Apparently, if you become a vampire and then wake up and don't drink blood, you just die. Yeah.
So make sure to not miss step 3.
Yes. Okay, let me see. Anything else we need to cover before the music section? Kind of disappointment for anyone who's interested in our music section. I have no idea who any of these are.
Not a clue.
We've got Opposite Direction by Union of Knives. I'm a Lady by Santa Gold. I'm Not Over by Carolina Liar. Shadows of Ourselves by Thievery Corporation. Back in Time by VV Brown. Fallout by Sophie Bond. Wild Place by Glass Pear. All We Were by Matt Nathanson. Brightest Hour hyphen Morgan Page remix hyphen by the Submarines.
Like brackets.
And Believer by Viva Voce. I'm sorry, I do not know who any of these people are.
Not a single recognizable name amongst the lot. That's pretty impressive.
So I think that'll do it. Pretty certain.
Yeah. I want to end off with the points of order because I think we forgot to mention them at the start.
What are our points of order?
Well, first off, I want to note that I am kind of upset with us because, and while I do love the previous episode's thumbnail of Football Man,
yeah,
we missed a golden opportunity for an American football reference.
Yes,
with vampire football.
Vampire football.
And we blew that.
I found a American football cover generator that makes you make your own American football cover, and I used it and it was great, and I wished we used that, but I guess I never meant for that to happen.
Yep. And secondly,
jokes.
Yes, jokes. I'm going to make this point that if you want to follow us, don't follow us on Twitter because Twitter is a spiraling dumpster fire and has only gotten worse recently.
Yeah.
Like with the viewing limits or whatever they've added.
Elon Musk introduced a feature that you can only view 600 tweets a day, and that's it unless you spend $8, and then you get 6,000. Ooh.
Ugh.
Ooh, wow, who cares?
So if you want to find us and and we'll be plugging episodes on there, you can find us on Tumblr. I am Tumblr user MegaFighter343.
I do not remember my Tumblr username.
He is Tumblr user Ashe Nightshade. That's ASHE Nightshade.
Like the plant.
Yes.
Did you know that nightshades are tomato plants? They are from the same family. And everyone used to think tomatoes were poisonous because they were just like, it's a nightshade, why the fuck would I eat that? And then in the 1600s or whenever they happened, it was just like, oh, spaghetti! And then everyone ate tomatoes. That's how it happened. That's exactly how it happened.
That's how exactly... I remember, didn't tomatoes also, because they were acidic, they would absorb like the lead properties of the plates they were using because they used lead plates?
Back in the day, yeah. But also radium, they would just like paint watches with radium and then people's jaws would fall off. So people back then were stupid.
I'm impressed at how well we have survived as a species.
We've managed, despite all the horrible fuck-ups we've had, like asbestos and whatever the shit they put in Roundup is, and just being like, wow, radioactive toothpaste, yummy. or doctors who are just like, have some opium.
Opium and leeches.
Opium and leeches. What are any other points of order?
Nope, that should do it for us.
Okay. I got a really busy work week next week, but I'll try to get the episode out anyway, because fuck it.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what we say at the end of these. All I know is I'm probably going to just have like a really weird clip play.
Yep, that's how we do it. See you next time.
Episode 5.
Big Chungus, Big Chungus, Big Chungus, Big Chungus, Big Chungus.